Greetings, commanders and historians, and welcome to One Page More, your source for official and unofficial lore. Now, this week I've decided to do something completely different. I was watching Warboss Fitz's video covering his analysis of Warhammer 40K versus one-page rules, and I was inspired to do one of my own, but I will only be focusing on the lore, because that's all I'm good for in this cold, forsaken world. I peddle the finest lore I can get my hands on. That also doesn't require me to read 50 books to understand. Now, without any further ado, let's jump into it. Who will win in a fight of best lore? Warhammer 40K or one-page rules GrimDark Future? It's Warhammer 40K. 40K wins. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment. The algorithm loves it. And ring the notification bell for more hard-hitting analysis. I don't really know why you're still here. I already told you who won. Fine. If you're sticking around, I guess I'll actually do the comparison. But first, let's establish the ground rules of how we're going to be doing this. Putting Warhammer lore in a fight against one-page rules is like putting a former world champion boxer in the ring with a YouTuber. It's not a fair fight. I really hope that joke ages well. The vast majority of one-page rules lore has only been around for a little over a year and has gone through some massive changes in the last few months. On top of that, the oldest canon lore comes from a few dozen panels of a webcomic. Now, if we contrast that to Warhammer 40K's lore, it's been around for nearly 40 years and has developed into a massive ocean of stories, characters, and events. There are well over 200 titles in the Black Library's catalog and another 200 or so codexes. Then there's countless short stories, White Dwarf issues, and like 179,000 videos on YouTube. So to pit these two games' lore against each other isn't really a fair fight or comparison. But we're gonna do it anyways. So let's establish the rules. Rule number 1. I am a biased judge, and so anything I say should be considered to be the complete and utter truth on the topic, and I will rule this world with an iron fist. Rule 2. Each game's lore will compete head-to-head over 5 rounds, with each round covering a different area of lore goodness. The winner of each round gets the point. Rule 3. The game with the most points at the end of the 5 rounds has the best lore and will be crowned champion. The rules are simple, the judges have been bought, and the match is unfair. This fight should be won for the history books. And what's that? It looks like the fighters are getting ready in the ring right now. Let's hop over to the arena for this fantastic fight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ultimate showdown of the century. Tonight, we have a titanic clash between two giants of the tabletop wargaming world. That's right, Bob. We have the ruling champion of the tabletop wargaming hobby versus the best challenger that we've had in years. Now, the challenger has a lean, main rule set with unbelievably balanced factions. I mean, for a wargame, at least. Well, that might be true, Thaddeus Octavius Reginald von Thunderstrike. Tonight's fight won't be about rule sets. No, it'll be about the setting that brings those rule sets to life. Bob, how many times do I have to tell you to call me your Thaddy? Over my dead body, Thaddeus Octavius Reginald von Thunderstrike. Someday. Anyways, you're right there, Bob. If this match was between rule sets, the odds might shift drastically. But tonight's bout will be a true test of narrative engagement. Characters, faction development, consistency, and, of course, the integration with the gameplay. Can the challenger bring something new to the table, or will the reigning champion defend its title with unyielding force? I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Both have their strengths and both have their weaknesses. It's a clash of titans and the crowd is buzzing with anticipation. Alright folks, buckle up because it's about to get intense. Let's go to our ring announcer for the introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fan of the GrimDark Future, are you ready? In the blue corner, hailing from the far reaches of the galaxy, a universe where there is only war, with a legacy spanning over 40,000 years, known for its epic battles, relentless warriors, and the darkest depths of lore imaginable. It's the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of tabletop wargaming. The one, the only, the unstoppable, the unparallelable Warhammer 40K by Games Workshop. In the red corner, emerging from the frontiers of innovation, bringing simplicity, flexibility, and a universe of endless possibilities, it's the challenger that's taking the wargaming world by storm. Introducing the dynamic, the accessible, the ever-changing one-page rules GrimDark Future. Round 1. Fight. Warhammer 40K, a universe teetering on the brink of oblivion, is a tapestry of epic proportions, woven over nearly 4 decades. This grimdark future is set in the 41st millennium, where humanity is beset by enemies from within, without, and beyond. The galaxy is divided into countless factions, each with its own rich history, motivations, and struggles. The lore's foundation is built upon major events such as the Horus Heresy, a galaxy-spanning civil war that nearly destroyed humanity, and the constant ebb and flow of wars that characterizes the age of the Imperium, with every faction fighting for survival, domination, or sheer chaos. The 40K universe is a dynamic and ever-changing battlefield. The depth of Warhammer 40K's lore is nothing short of monumental. Thanks to nearly 40 years of contribution from a dedicated cadre of authors, these writers have meticulously crafted a universe that both feels ancient and immediate, filled with a millennia of history and stories waiting to be discovered. The Black Library, Games Workshop's publishing arm, has produced countless novels, short stories, and anthologies that dives into every conceivable aspect of the 40K universe. One of the most impressive aspects of Warhammer 40K is its comprehensive coverage of perspectives, from the lowliest guardsmen facing the horrors of the battlefield to the galaxy-shaping decisions of the High Lords of Terra. Every level of the universe is richly detailed, whether it's the tragic heroism of Space Marines, the desperate struggles of Squig, or the inscrutable machinations of the Chaos Gods. There is a story for everyone. The non-human factions are not quite as fleshed out, but there's still depth there, with the Eldar's tragic decline, the Orcs' anarchic exuberance, and the Tyranids' terrifying hive mind offering rich narrative veins to explore. Overall, Warhammer 40K's depth is a testament to the passion and creativity of its authors and the vast interwoven tapestry of its lore. Every corner of the universe holds stories of heroism, betrayal, and survival, making a richly textured playground for fans. Now on the originality front, 40K is a peculiar beast. It is no secret that 40K has borrowed liberally from a vast array of sources, yet it does so with such audacity and flair that it transforms those influences into something uniquely its own. From the expansive empires of Frank Herbert to the mythological epics of ancient cultures and gothic horror of H.P. Lovecraft, 40K has taken the best elements from various genres and melded them into a somewhat cohesive, immersive universe. In the 40K universe, everything is turned up to 11. The stakes are always apocalyptic. The battles are gargantuan, and the characters are larger than life. This over-the-top approach creates a setting where the extraordinary becomes the norm. Space Marines aren't just soldiers, they are genetically enhanced demigods. The Chaos Gods aren't just evil, they are the manifestation of the darkest aspects of existence itself. This maximalist ethos ensures that 40K stands out in the crowded field of science fiction and fantasy. While the themes, plots, and settings of 40K might initially appear and are derivative, the way they are executed makes them feel fresh and original. The grimdark atmosphere permeates every aspect of the universe, from the towering hive cities to the forsaken battlefields of distant planets. Themes of unending war, the corruption of power, and the struggle for survival are present with raw intensity that few other universes can match. But let's face it, commanders and historians, Warhammer 40K is incredibly cringy. The universe is filled with absurdly macho posturing, melodramatic declarations, and an almost comical level of grimness. Yet this cringe factor is part of what makes 40K so endearing. It's a universe that embraces its own excesses with a knowing wink, diving so deeply into the ocean of cringe that it wraps around and becomes cool again. Players often hide specific aspects of the lore from outsiders or new players, not because they're ashamed, but because 40K's over-the-top nature is best appreciated once you're fully immersed in the madness. In summary, Warhammer 40K's originality lies in its bold fusion of diverse influences, its commitment to maximalist storytelling, and its unforgettable characters. While it may borrow from many sources, it does so with such confidence and flair that it creates a universe like no other. A universe that is unapologetically grandiose, wonderfully cringy, and endlessly captivating. But now it's time to move over to the challenger, GrimDark Future, the ever-evolving universe from one-page rules. It is a relatively recent addition to the wargaming scene, but it's already made a significant impact. Initially conceived as a streamlined alternative to Warhammer 40K, GrimDark Future has developed its own rich lore over the past 18 months or so. This universe is set in a far-flung galaxy where various factions vie for dominance in a sector fraught with conflict, intrigue, and mystery. The history of GrimDark Future is painted with broad strokes, offering a high-level overview that allows players to get a sense of the grand scale of the universe without getting bogged down in the minutiae. The lore spans across multiple star systems and planets, each with its own unique characteristics and strategic importance. Major events and conflicts are roughly outlined, giving players a framework within which they can develop their own narratives. At the core of GrimDark Future's history are the diverse factions, each with its own distinct background and motivation. From the relentless robot legions to the nomadic jackals, every faction has a role to play in the ongoing saga of the universe. The lore, while not as extensive as some other wargaming universes, it still provides enough detail to spark the imagination and set the stage for epic battles and personal stories. GrimDark Future's lore is also a testament to what can be achieved in a short period of time, when creativity and dedication come together. Over the past couple of years, the team behind One Page Rules has worked tirelessly to flesh out the universe, providing players with a wealth of new materials to explore. This rapid development has ensured that the lore is fresh, dynamic, and continually evolving. One of the defining characteristics of GrimDark Future's lore is its broad, survey-level writing. Instead of diving deeply into the specifics of any one aspect, the lore provides a high-level overview of the universe, covering the major events, factions, and settings. This approach allows players to quickly grasp the big picture and understand the general context in which their game takes place. It's like getting a tour of the galaxy from 40,000 feet. While the overall lore is broad, GrimDark Future also features a selection of official short stories that provide more focused glimpses into the universe. Stories like Jackpot or Meal Ticket highlight the personal struggles and adventures of individual characters within the larger setting. These tales, though limited in number, are impactful, adding depth and emotional resonance to the broader narrative. Perhaps one of the most appealing aspects of GrimDark Future's lore is the open-ended nature. The broad, survey-level writing and the limited number of official stories leaves plenty of gaps for players to fill in with their own creativity. Collaborative canvas than a fixed story, with each player contributing their own unique brushstrokes. I, for one, have taken advantage of this and made this entire channel based off of this fact alone. There is more than enough room for me to explore the official lore while also developing my own and presenting it in a hopefully amusing manner. While GrimDark Future's lore might not have the extensive details of long-established universes, its recent development, broad overview, impactful short stories, and invitation for players' creativity provide a robust and engaging framework. This depth, achieved in a short span of time, ensures that GrimDark Future is a vibrant and exciting universe for players to explore and expand upon. Now let's address the plasma cannon wielding elephant in the room. GrimDark Future's lore is heavily influenced by Warhammer 40K. Originally conceived to fix perceived rule issues in 40K, one-page rules clearly borrows many elements from its predecessor. This borrowing isn't subtle, it's glaringly obvious. The factions, the grimdark atmosphere, and even the overarching themes all echo the well-trodden paths laid by 40K. While homage is one thing, GrimDark Future often saddles the line between inspiration and imitation. Despite its roots, GrimDark Future makes a concerted effort to distinguish itself from Warhammer 40K. However, this effort often feels forced. The lore attempts to carve out its own identity, but the shadow of 40K looms large. To its credit, GrimDark Future does introduce unique factions and settings with original twists. The Jackals, for example, offer a fresh take on the scavenger archetype, blending elements of survivalism with nomadic lifestyle. The Robot Legions, while reminiscent of the Necrons, have their own unique history and characteristics that differentiates them somewhat. However, these attempts at originality often feel superficial, as if the designers were ticking boxes to ensure their factions had just enough differences to avoid outright accusations of plagiarism. Wow, I'm not going to say that. One notable aspect of one-page rules GrimDark Future lore is its agnostic perspective. By not going too deeply into any single faction's viewpoints, the lore maintains a sense of neutrality that encourages player-driven storytelling. This approach allows players to project their narrative onto the universe, filling in the gaps with their own creativity. However, this agnosticism can also come across as a lack of commitment to developing a truly unique and immersive lore. It's a double-edged sword. While it offers flexibility, it also suggests a reluctance to fully flesh out the world in a distinct and compelling manner. In the end, the GrimDark Future's lore is a mixed bag. Its recent development and broad stroke approach makes it an accessible and flexible playground for new and experienced players alike. The impactful short stories and the invitation for player-driven creativity add a layer of engagement that is considerable. However, the lore's depth often feels superficial, and its heavily reliance on 40K's blueprint is both an asset and a significant limitation. GrimDark Future has certainly carved out a niche for itself in the tabletop wargaming world, but it's clear that it still has a way to go to fully establish its own unique lore identity. This isn't to say that GrimDark Future lacks potential, far from it. The foundations are solid, and the open-ended nature of the lore provides ample opportunity for expansion and deepening. Frankly, GrimDark Future is in a much better position in terms of its lore at this stage of development than 40K ever was. In essence, GrimDark Future is a universe with great promise, but it will need to continue evolving and innovating to truly stand out in the crowded field of tabletop wargaming. With time and continued creative effort, it has the potential to become a standout in its own right, offering players a richly detailed and original setting to explore and enjoy. And there's the bell, Thaddeus Octavius Reginald von Thunderstrike. That was a powerful first round. Let's go to the judges to see who won that round. Then there you have it. The judges have voted and Warhammer 40K has won round one. Well, Bob, makes a lot of sense. When comparing the lore of Warhammer 40K and one-page rules GrimDark Future, it's clear that each universe has its own strengths and appeals, but one stands out more predominantly in the initial round. That's right, Thaddeus Octavius Reginald von Thunderstrike. The Warhammer 40K's lore is a towering edifice built over nearly 4 decades of meticulous world building. With its nearly limitless depth, every faction, character, and event is richly detailed. The universe spans millennia, offering a grand historical tapestry filled with epic sagas like the Horus Heresy and the Fall of Cadia. The depth of the lore is supported by a vast array of novels, short stories, source books that all explore every conceivable aspect of this grim-dark future. The characters are iconic, the stakes are apocalyptic, the scale is unparalleled, and the stories are cringe. In contrast, Bob, GrimDark Future from one-page rules is a younger and more streamlined universe developed over the last couple of years. Its lore offers a broader, survey-level view of the galaxy, providing a high-level overview that is accessible and easy to grasp. However, right now it can't stand up to Warhammer 40K's depth and
originality.
That's right, Thaddeus Octavius Reginald von Thunderstrike. While one-page rules GrimDark Future made a commendable effort in this first round, it's just not where it needs to be in order to take on the giant of 40K. Well, now let's move on to round 2. Wait, what? Looks like we ran out of time when writing this script and couldn't finish it before our deadline. So, I guess we'll have to pick this up in the next video. This is Bob, and this is Thaddy, signing off until next time. Thank you all for joining me on this terrible video I'm making. Once again, I was inspired by Warboss Fitz in his video, and I've seen Good Enough Gaming doing some comparison videos as well, so I thought I would hop on the bandwagon a little bit late, but still hopping on it. And then I had a really dumb idea of running this like a boxing match. So here we are. I'm doubling down. I'm enjoying the cringe. I hope you are too. But if you like this type of content, and hopefully you like my other content better, but if you like this type of content, please like, share this video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave plenty of comments. I love reading your comments and answering them, especially if you have any feedback on how I can improve these videos. That's always much appreciated. Also, don't forget to participate in some of the upcoming polls and discussions on my community page. Always make sure you check that. I try to communicate as much as possible through there, so take a look. But join us next time as we go into round 2 of this match between Warhammer 40K and one-page rules GrimDark Future. But until then, remember that this universe never runs out of stories. There's always one page more.